I remade every PVZ plant into their opposites. Starting off with pea shooter. So peas are round, small, and comes in pods. So the opposite of that is big, non-circular, and comes in peels. So I thought of BananaShooter. So pea shooter can shoot zombies from a distance. So the opposite of that would be melee. However, I'm not going to make it so that BananaShooter can shoot the zombies from only a certain range because he's blind. Instead, it's his projectiles that do the melee, and he has two of them. First, we have the peel. When a zombie steps on a peel, it gets stunned and hurt. The second one is the actual fruit, where when shot, the fruit splats on the ground, creating a bubble, and when a zombie steps on it, it will get slowed down. Next up, we have sunflower, and I was usually thinking of turning sunflower into moonflower. However, there's already a moonflower in PVZ 2. So I decided to look into other things in the sky. Some things in the sky other than the sun is the clouds. So therefore, I turned sunflower into CloudFlower. CloudFlower behaves the exact same as sunflower, except it produces clouds instead of sun. Oh yeah, and that means that the main currency of the game, sun, will be replaced with clouds. Next up, cherry bomb. And since cherries are small and comes in two, I think the opposite of the fruit should be an apple, and the opposite of exploding would be imploding. So therefore, I create ImplodeApple. So ImplodeApple has 3 stages. In the first stage, he would kill 6 zombies using his stem. Then he would implode. However, there will be some of his apple chunks flying around. Yes, that's a bit more of an explosion, but I don't care. Only implosion is boring. Anyways, in the second stage, it kind of acts like a squash. If a zombie gets under him, he would just flatten down. The third stage is literally just a rake. So yeah, when a zombie steps on him, he just kills the zombie, then disappears. Next up, we have walnut. And since walnut is a dry fruit, I decided to make the opposite of the fruit that has the most amount of water, cucumbers. Wait, cucumbers are vegetables. Well, anyways, I created cucumber. Yes, I did not have any ideas for the name, so I just made it cucumber. So yeah, instead of it being like walnut where it blocks zombies, it sends them back so that they constantly have to go forward, then just go back. However, while doing that, it can lose a little bit of its chunks. So yeah, eventually it will just die. Yeah. Also, since walnut's name is a pun like walnut, I thought of making cucumber's name a pun. However, I simply have no ideas. So if you have an idea, leave it in the comments. However, I'm not just making opposite plants. I'm making an opposite game. So yeah, another name for plants with zombies is nature versus infection. So yeah, the opposite of plants versus zombies is nature versus infection. I'm not planning to actually make a game, I'm just making ideas. However, if you want to make a game out of this, you can. Just please make sure to credit me. Next up, we have walnut bowling, and in my opinion, the opposite of bowling is frisbee, which fits perfect with their new cucumber plant because it's literally built and shaped like a frisbee. So you have to throw the frisbee to the zombies and they'll just die. Yeah, that's it. Before the next 4 plants, I'm gonna make opposites of these zombies. In this game, the zombies will be known as infections, and they will be viruses. However, plants are just gonna remain as plants. They're not gonna be called natures. So yeah, I decided to make all infection, which is based off the bacteriophage, and is an infection. And I also made baskection, concorrection, wissection, and amoeba. They're opposites of conehead, buckethead, flag zombie, and pole vaulter. For the first 3, it's a no-brainer on what they do, so I'm only gonna explain the amoeba. The amoeba can go through other plants, like the pole vaulter can jump over other plants. Yeah, that's it. Also, there's gonna be a new mechanic in this game called transmission, where if a zombie bites a plant, however the plant doesn't die, it will have an infection that will infect plants in the 3x3 area and will slowly die, and the plants in the 3x3 area would get the same fate. Right now, the only counter to this is cucumber because cucumber cannot be infected. Yeah. Next up, we have potato mine. Since potatoes are crooked most of the time, I decided to go with a completely round plant. So therefore, I made orange juice. But Danish, that's just a regular orange. Just wait and see, dude. So orange juice is going to be an early game plant like potato mine. So when a zombie comes in orange juice's lane, orange juice will pour orange juice all over the lane. Then we'll fly away. How many times did I say orange juice here? Snow pea! It's fire pea. Subscribe. However, I'm gonna turn fire pea into fire banana to make it more like its brother. Next up, we have chomper. It took some clever thinking, but I thought of guarana. Danish, that's what you just denied. No, it's not. Guarana is a real fruit. Search it up. Anyways, the way it works is that it looks at the sun for some time. Then once it's done, it shoots a laser at the zombies through its eye from three tiles. Then it will have wait 10 seconds to recharge again. Disclaimer: don't look into the sun to get laser eyes. It's not true. Don't blind yourself. Repeater. I swear to God, this was the most annoying point to come up with. Like, what the fuck is this? So repeater is basically just pea shooter multiplied by 2. So I thought of banana shooter multiplied by the opposite of 2. However, what the fuck is the opposite of 2? Like, it could be 0.5 because it's instead of 1 multiplied by 2, it's 1 divided by 2. However, according to the dice, it's 5. And according to some people, it's just 1. However, we already have banana shooter that represents 1. So I took a quick break to relax myself and so that I don't scream the entire day out of anger. Then I thought of this. Instead of looking at the math of the plant, why not look at the design of the plant? So repeater shoots 2 peas relatively fast. Hold on. What I mean is that it shoots 2 white projectiles at a fast rate. So that means our plant has to shoot at a slow rate but deal heavy damage. So therefore, I created Rock Banana. Rock Banana can shoot bananas that are literal rocks every 5 seconds. However, they deal a great amount of damage, the damage is 5 pea shooter peas, which 2 of them can take out an infection. So yeah, that's all the PVZ points and its opposites. Make sure to subscribe and I'll see you later. Yay! Oh yeah, and by the way, if you're watching this one is probably out, so you should probably check it out.